Hit it.
From the TMBC network, welcome to Bad Audiobooks, a parody brought to you by our long-limbed, long-life patrons on Patreon. I'm your host, Nick Mazmanian, along with my co-host,
Ken Heidelman. Thank you so much for joining us about our good...
Ha! Ha!
Thank you so much for joining us about our show about good books read badly.
I knew it.
I forgot it. Well, that's why I suggested bringing it up. I didn't say I could do it.
I know, but you were like, you sure you don't... You made it sound like I needed it. You're like, you sure you don't need it?
Yeah, you fucked up last time, so I was committed to it, but you nailed it this time. I fucked up.
I did it.
I never claimed, though, that I wasn't going to fuck up. Anyways, welcome back. We're continuing our journey into the madness that is the Tower Treasure.
The what is the artist who was like mid-century artist? Oh, the Rockwellian mystery that is the Hardy Boys.
Yeah, I guess it's a Rockwellian.
Oh, dude, this is Rockwell so fucking hard. Like,
yeah,
you know, I'll look at this slice of Americana from a white person's perspective permanently, always. Not that he only did that, but he did pretty much.
He had
only.
some good black.
Oh no! Like he was not. I'm not saying he's anything. It was just like everyone just kind of all of a sudden realized like, oh, there's a lot of white people doing.
There was some weird shit going on in the Saturday
Evening Post.
Saturday, thank you. Saturday Evening Post.
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
There was some weird shit. I love not the cover of the illustrations.
Yeah.
It was more the editorials.
Yeah. No.
But that is certainly the time period that we're looking here for the Hardy Boys, and we're still in the first book. I think we're only going to be doing.
Can we have a Rockwellian future rather than an Orwellian one?
I don't know if I don't know if we want that Rockwellian for reasons we just discussed.
Yeah, that's true. But it's just so pretty.
It's very well painted. Did you know that he used photos?
Yeah, he totally had staged actors and stuff.
Yeah, it was as a budding illustrator that was hard that no one told me.
Really? They didn't tell you that in art class?
No. Oh. Or just when you're looking at the books or looking at his illustrations, they don't say, "Oh man, he used a fuck ton of reference and photos, and he had a whole thing."
It's that comic of I'm trying. If only I'm as good as the masters before me, and then it goes to like the Renaissance. Oh, if only I was as good as the masters before me, and then it goes to like medieval times. If only I was as good as the masters before me, and it comes to the caveman who's like, I am the best.
If only I could draw.
Yeah, exactly. It's just whenever you compare anybody who's termed a genius today, or a classic, like even in writing, you're kind of just like, oh, of course, Hemingway. This just came out of his head, and he was just wrote it perfect every time.
It's perfect,
and it's not like he got a shit ton of notes and then went through a fuck ton of edits and
or wrote bad books still.
Yeah, that too.
I don't know. I haven't read a lot of Hemingway.
Or wanted to shoot himself in the head because of having to rewrite a book again.
You want rewrites? I'll give you a rewrite. I'll get your rewrite in here. Rewrite this.
You don't like my ending? Fuck you!
I'll write an ending you can't edit. Shit, that's fucked up.
Oh, all right, how much do I bet it was because of that too? Not because of depression or anything else.
No, it couldn't possibly be.
No.
All right, let's jump into it. So, class, turn to page 33,
chapter 5
of the original printing of the Hardy Boys Tower Treasure.
Okay, before we start, now that we're digressing enough already.
Okay, whoa, what's this?
I was talking to Ev the other day, and I was like, "Oh my god, we're reading this book. It might have some racism."
Shout out to Ev.
Really haven't. Yeah, shout out to Ev. But we really haven't run into the racist stuff, which is surprising.
Oh shit. Okay. And
remember the field workers? Who was a field worker in 1927? Usually.
I don't know. I guess I know now. Oh no! But I didn't catch it.
The thing is, it wasn't explicitly written, but that's because it was like I was telling him that, and he goes, "I was like, did we?" He goes, well, think of it like this: when you say like, oh, somebody, such and such, or whatever, like a profession of some kind or whatever, you have a generality that comes to mind. Like it could have been, I don't know. The way it was written, they were very slow sounding and dumb. Because
I just thought they were rednecks.
I thought they were rednecks too, but we were also in a beach town area, and this book has not good stuff in it. So I don't know, but a part of me is like suspect.
Yeah, no, that's definitely suspect one. We've got our own mystery that we're trying to solve.
Where's the racism in this book?
It's there somewhere. We're just gonna dig deep enough. It'll be there.
We'll be like our dad one day, solving the racist mysteries.
Yeah, the imagination of Franklin Dixon, who
A compilation of evil and not evil people.
An amalgamation of human editors that become Franklin Dixon.
Yeah,
it evolved. They're like a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers robot.
So if you think you have an answer for us as to whether or not we read racist stuff before, but we didn't know, sound off in the comments somewhere wherever you find it.
Let us know your thoughts on did that shit get a little racist
without us knowing.
Because then that would be the second time that it happened on this show with H.P. Lovecraft being the first.
The subtle racism.
That was so fucking subtle. Good to know that shit is fucking. Oh, we made those jokes last time with that shit, but like, oh, they're different. They're those people.
Yeah, exactly. It's always the other when it comes to that stuff. Anyway, back to the book.
Yeah, let's get to the funny.
6 minutes in, and we are finally reading this.
We're taking
book.
off.
Yeah, off to the races. We're good to go. All right. This is titled Chet's Auto Horn. Fenton Hardy, the internationally famous detective, was reading in the library of his home that evening when his sons tapped on the door. He was disappointed already.
Yeah, I can't believe he's actually going to be in this story.
I know. I was
shocked. I thought it was
surprise
going to be
appearance by Dad.
Surprise appearance by the adult.
Unlike anything in Grimm's fairy tales, where the dad's like, "Gotta go.
See ya.
I gotta buy some cigarettes. I'll be right back.
Go hang out with your family, and then it'll torture you. Whatever. I don't care. I gotta go."
Number one dad.
Yeah, world's number one dad. All right, Fenton.
Although he was a busy man, Mr. Hardy was not the type of father who maintains an air of aloofness from his family.
I guess that was still a constant. We're doing a character break from the norm.
Look at him. He's involved with his family, guys.
He's unusual. He's a quirky guy.
He talks to his kids.
He loves them.
He hugs them, maybe?
What? That's crazy.
Know. The result being that he was on as good terms with his boys as though he were an elder brother.
Interesting.
Come in. Oh, wait. I'm not the dad.
Do you want to be the dad?
I guess I could be dad.
You be dad.
Come in. He shouted cheerfully, putting aside his book, and when Frank and Joe entered the room, he motioned to a deep leather sofa near the window. Sit down. What have you been doing all day?
Where you been?
Burning up all the roads in the country, I suppose. He grinned amiably at them and puffed vigorously at his pipe.
Smoke up, kid. Smoke up, Johnny.
How do you like the cancer?
Hey, Joe. Hey, Frank. What's up? Fuck. How's Frank's voice go again?
You're basically like... Rumpelstiltskin.
Okay. Well, I don't know how we did that either. Well, we didn't travel very far today, Dad.
Frank replied.
We were
investigating.
Shut up, Joe.
Prompted Joe.
Aha!
Exclaimed Mr. Hardy in mock surprise. So my sons were investigating, eh? What was it? A murder?
Holy shit!
A plot to blow up the White House? A train wreck? Something big, I hope.
Oh my god. No, not quite that bad.
Damn, this is that dad. He's that dad, though, who's like pushing his children. So like... You need to do the best you can. Are you getting A's? Where are the A's?
I'm going to blow up the White House so you can actually investigate it.
So you can close the case on that whole thing. What we got? Admitted Frank.
It was a car theft.
Mr. Hardy shook his head. I am disappointed in you.
Doing the same voice. Let's keep going.
I'm trying to do more of a Fallout mutant or whatever.
I'm trying to do more like the world's greatest detective.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm trying to do more of a skin job.
Sure.
From,
okay.
The Fallout
cool.
universe. He said solemnly, I really am. Just think, the sons of mine should investigate a car theft. I thought you wouldn't bother about anything less than a murder.
So much for that whole, I'm really good with my kids.
Yeah.
I connect with them. I'm not a loft, but the judgment comes in hot and fast.
Yeah. That's dad. That's dad right there.
Being a good dad.
His eyes twinkled, and the Hardy boys, who were accustomed to their father's good-natured banter, smiled back at him.
So this is what's being labeled as good-natured panther.
So good-natured.
Oh my god.
I'm criticizing you super hard about your choice and whatever it is you're going after.
You're a piece of shit. Don't you get it?
What do you mean?
What are you get bothered by? You being such a piece of shit?
Why do you keep hitting me?
Get some thick skin.
Stop ribbing me.
Thick skins.
I don't want to be ribbed anymore.
Come on. You gotta have a good sense of humor.
I'm calling child
You're
services.
such a shit kid, and you don't know how to get good grades. Why can't you just laugh at it? What are you judging for?
I'm gonna go cry.
Okay, that's because you're a big wuss.
Damn snowflake. Anyway,
We weren't just practicing detective work, Dad.
explain, Frank.
You see, Ted Morton's Roadster was stolen this morning. That's different than what I just told you before.
Exactly right. Is that so? Exclaimed Mr. Hardy, genuinely concerned. Why, that's too bad. Chet was mighty proud of that car, wasn't he?
He's so tuned into who
know.
Chet's feelings are about his fucking automobile. I guess anybody would be into their car.
I'm really into my car, and it's not a hot rod.
Yeah, mine's a piece of shit too.
Yes, he was. And he hasn't been found, and it hasn't been found yet.
So you're saying there was a murder?
There's no trace of the body that we disposed of.
No trace of the thief. I'm assuming that's Joe.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
I'm assuming that's Joe.
He tried to hold up the steamboat ticket office after he stole the car.
Mr. Hardy whistled.
Jesus Christ!
Why have you? Hang on. Why have you been on a case worthwhile? Tell me about it. He said,
I literally just did. I told you all the details. And that's where we're at.
I love that. I love that we're it's just for padding. It's just for padding.
Oh
We're
my
just
God,
reiterating
yeah.
over and over again. He settled back in his chair while his sons told him the story of the day's
Oh,
doings.
thank God that the author was
Thank
like,
Christ.
"All right, we don't need to repeat this again. This isn't Grimm's Fairy Tales."
When they told of the difference of opinion as to the color of the man's hair, he did not laugh with them, as they had expected, over the argument between Harody and Mr. Brown. On the contrary, he knitted his eyebrows into a fierce scarf. And his face wore a serious expression.
Is this where the colors come in and the
I don't know. I
and the
guess we'll
judgment
find out.
and
Yeah.
the
It wasn't any ordinary auto thief you were dealing with, he said slowly. I have no doubt the man who tried to rob the ticket office and the man who almost ran you down on the shore road were one and the same.
no shit,
And the same man stole Chet Morton's car.
no shit.
Oh. But who? Who about the color? How about the color of his hair? There must have been two men, said Joe. I don't
Who do you think
know.
fucking said that?
I think this will be
the
the
dad.
dad.
It's the
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah.
We gotta go deep.
Yeah. I think so. Think so. I have my theories, but then the average witness is very unreliable.
What'd you say? Who did it? It was a woman in a pink dress? Couldn't have been. You're unreliable. Get out of here.
Do you smoke? No, you can't be trusted. Leave. For instance, I give you a test. You have seen Superintendent Norton of Bayport High School. Well, how often? Pop quiz, hotshot.
Yeah.
About 2,000 or 3,000 times, I guess.
That's a super involved superintendent.
That's super specific.
And also, that's like a super involved superintendent. Nobody does
Are
that.
we counting days or minutes?
He's
hours?
building the school while they're there. So he's like doing all the mortar and stuff. He's like, hey, kids.
Just lifting panels of the ceiling. Hey, how's it going?
It's in the
So
school.
did you do your
we built."
homework?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll see you
I'm
later.
balancing that budget to make sure the teachers get fair pay.
How long has he been going to the school? I don't understand what constitutes seeing somebody. Is there like if it's a 60-second break, does that constitute a second time seeing him? How do you get to 3,000?
I don't know.
I don't know if I've seen you 3,000 times.
We definitely haven't entered that territory a number of times, I don't think, in the years we've known each other.
No.
It's been a long time. Answered Frank. Over a period of 3 years. Well, what color is his hair? Frank looked blankly at Joe. Why?
Oh.
It's Joe scratched his head. It's brown, isn't it?
I think it's black.
You
There
see?
it is.
It's black.
Yeah. There's a racist. Clearly. Why's it gotta be black hair? You see? Said Mr. Hardy, smiling. Your powers of observation have not been trained. Isn't that failing on your part? As the dad who's the world-renowned detective, you didn't train your kids to be more observant?
Also, there's more than 2 colors of hair in the world.
No. There's only those 2. That's it. Everybody else just shot. They've been killed already.
My
Told from
beard
the herd.
has like 3 different colors in it.
I know. You're a freak.
I know.
I know.
I know.
A good detective has to school himself to remember all sorts of little facts like that until it gets to be a habit with him. Both you...
But if you're the witness, isn't that more your job as a detective? Why do you need to memorize what someone's hair would
The
look
problem
like?
is the Hardy Boys are both in this particular case.
Oh, okay.
So they're both the witness and the detectives. Both of you have been looking at Mr. Norton for about 3 years.
But you weren't seeing Mr. Norton.
And you don't know the color of his hair. And if I had asked whether he was in the habit of wearing lace shoes or buttoned shoes, you would be stumped altogether. As a matter of
That's
fact,
some Sherlock bullshit.
Mr. Norton is bald and wears a chestnut wig. You ever noticed that? He always wears button shoes. He belongs to the Elks, and his favorite author is Dickens.
This is some Sherlock shit.
I know, right? The boys looked at their father in amazement. Hang on, let's look gobsmacked.
Oh! Wow! You're so amazing for withholding evidence!
But Dad, you've never met him. Hang on, okay. I've never been introduced to him, but I've passed him on the street a number of times, so I know.
So how do you know who he is?
Exactly. I know who he is. I know by his demeanor down the street. Clearly, that's the walk of a superintendent of schools.
And if he's a superintendent here, the most likely to be the closest school that needs a superintendent. Ergo, he's bald.
He's just the principal from Back to the Future. Slacker.
Slacker McFly.
When your powers of observation have been trained as mine have been, it is no trick at all to take away a mental photograph of a man after seeing him once.
Ew, are you taking mental photographs of everybody that you're walking by?
I see him all naked in my
I'm
head.
looking at you. I just took a photo of you with my mind.
It's too late. I've seen everything. If you're especially observant, it isn't hard to notice such details as that regarding the wig. A wig never has the same appearance as natural hair, which is why we still make them for some reason to think that the people think that they look natural.
It's because they're made out of straw. And they're painted brown.
God damn it. But how do you know he belongs to the
you
Elks?
rolled badly
asked
with
Joe.
this- with
I
this
know,
shit.
this is fucking bad. Well, it's like this. Joe is clearly places the idiot between the two, so he's constantly talking to his dad about questions and stuff. And
Yeah.
Frank's like, the go hard, I know what I'm doing.
Let's not make Frank look dumb because he's the heavyweight in this
Exactly. Frank's the doing one. He's the older one. Therefore, he knows more. But Joe, he's an innocent. He's an idiot. He has to ask all the dumb questions that we don't need to know.
Yeah.
Belongs to the Elks, asked Joe. He wears the lodge emblem as a watch charm.
What the fuck is a watch charm?
I'm gonna assume it's a charm that hung off watches at one point. Like, actually, if he had a pocket watch, you can put jewelry on a
Oh,
pocket
okay.
watch chain.
Yeah. I guess they still
This
did
is
that
the
then.
20s, so probably pocket watch. It didn't say wristwatch. It's because they would call it a wristwatch.
Oh, you're right. You're right. They
Back
would
in the
call it-
day, yeah. And how do you know his favorite author is Dickens? On 3 separate occasions that I met Mr. Norton. Didn't he just say he just saw him like on the
I've never
street?
met him, but I've met him.
And that one time I gave him a hand job.
I never met him in the traditional sense, but we've met.
What's it called? We've
I don't know.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're
That's
talking
pretty
about.
funny.
Yeah.
We knew each other biblically.
That
There
was
you
it.
go.
I got
There
it.
you go. In the biblical sense of the
We
word.
met in the biblical sense in the ether, and by the ether's the name of the toilet stall in the third row.
For a good time call. Norton, I noticed that he was carrying a book. Once it was Oliver Twist. Another time it was A Tale of Two Cities. And the third time it was David Copperfield. So I judged that his favorite author must be Dickens. I am right? Am I right?
You like that Dickens so much, you want to Dickens me in me? I don't know.
I don't know.
Just do it. Just do me.
Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, I have a line?
Yes.
This is
Frank gets to
terrifying.
ask a question. Frank gets
I always talk to Dickens to us, or he always talks to Dickens to us at school.
said Frank. Because he's just making statements. Frank makes the statements, Joe asks the questions.
I provide the filler.
It's simple enough. Once you get the habit, remarked Mr. Hardy. "You must train yourselves." Now I'm going into more of a weird voice. "You must train yourselves to be observant, so that in time you will automatically remember the details
You already told me this, Dad.
Shut up! About people you meet and places you visited.
These are facts that you're telling me.
You
We're
don't know.
sitting in a room together.
You don't know anything, Joe. What's the color of my hair? Can you tell me?
How many times do you think we've met? We've technically never met.
I don't think it's even been thousands.
But I'm a good dad, so it's been a few hundred.
At least. We've been alive for 15 years. That averages out to 2 observations a year.
2.5 observations.
A month.
A month.
Now, if Harody and Mr. Brown had been at all observant, in spite of the fact that they were surprised and frightened, because they're terrible policemen.
Are those witnesses or police? I don't care.
No.
I started asking and I stopped caring halfway through my own sentence.
They're I think they're just normal folk. I don't think they're police. Yeah. There we are. They would have been able to give the police a very thorough description of the man who had to hold up the steamboat office. And if
He was the superintendent. He has wigs. I solved it.
Yep, it is. It's the superintendent. Way to go, dude.
Thanks, man.
We figured
If
it out.
I'm right, I'm going to be so sad.
You have to remember it was the 20s. A lot of the tropes weren't there yet. So,
Okay.
Actually, this is probably old hat, even when for then. And if the man happened to be a professional thief,
Old wig.
the description would have helped the officers ascertain who he was. Because once a man has served a prison term, his description is kept on file. It is how, as it is, we know about him is that he has a probably redheaded. That isn't much to go on. I love that it took all that just to go on that line that could have edited.
I feel like we could have cut it down to those two. But I like that it's like, oh, his description's kept on file. He hasn't paid his debt to society by going to prison.
No. We don't keep. Well,
You have to keep paying forever.
You never get a leg up, even then.
You've made a mistake. You paid it, but now you got to keep paying. There's back taxes.
You're gonna carry that weight. I'm afraid Chet hasn't had much chance of recovering his roadster.
Tip, Joe's given up, and it's
Said
only
Joe.
chapter 5.
I know, right? You never can tell, remarked his father.
Yeah, baby.
Maybe it's gone forever. These things happen. Oh, is it my turn still? Okay.
Yeah.
It may turn up sometime. Perhaps the thief will give himself into the trouble yet. Keep your ears and eyes open.
Shouldn't the police be doing that? Why do we have to keep doing, like, the beats as kids?
I don't know. Budget cuts, man. It was the Depression.
Shit.
And now, if you don't mind, I have some reports to write. Because that's what I was doing when you walked in. Writing reports and
Getting
and
high,
booze.
smoking.
I was about to
boozing.
say, all my booze are reports.
You know what? I don't want to talk to you anymore. So I
That's
gotta go.
knee
Right
deep in reports. He's gone through at least 3 bottles today.
I'm on report number 16-ounce report. Then I gotta finish up real quick.
I need a 3-finger report. Anyway.
That's the name of
Frank and Joe.
the superintendent. 3-finger report.
Sounds like a Dick Tracy character. Come here, 3-finger.
3-finger be report and report.
Frank and Joe took the hint and left their father to his
really
work.
a hint. I
That's
want you to
mostly,
leave.
Get out. Keep your... But although they talked long into the night on possible ways and means of recovering Chet's car, they were able to devise no plan for tracing the thief.
You talk all night, but not actually have anything.
It's 1927, dude. What are you gonna do?
I don't know why they're talking. There's like they
got
literally
nothing
are
else
at
to
a
do.
dead end. So I think this chapter is going to have some new exciting shit happening to maybe
we'll
have
see.
it forward. We'll see.
We'll see.
Oh, I say exciting. I don't mean really.
All right, I think. Hang on.
And through the week.
Yeah, sure. That's it. And through the week that followed, there were no further clues. Chet had given up all hope of seeing his
I think new
roadster-
exciting
the
shit's
roadster
going to
again.
happen. And then nothing happened.
Nothing at all. It was gone. This is typical for Grand Theft Auto.
The end.
All right, now it's on you. Your Chet.
I sure miss the old bus.
He told the Hardy Boys after school on Friday afternoon.
I got a new bus pass because my car got stolen, and I like waiting for the bus.
Chet, how'd you get white gloves and ears?
Okay.
Whoa, hi there. Oh, don't worry about it. Oh, I had some new friends. Well, they stole my car. They beat the shit out of me. They gave me this black eye. Oh, jeez. Oh, goodness.
All right. Anyway, still got more to read.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I have to take more chances and catch rides in and out of town. And those truck drivers, they want some specific things, and I just do what they say.
I heard they have only 2 ways of accepting payment.
The front end and the back end. They sometimes ask for both. Well, last night I was walking halfway home before a car came along and gave me a lift.
Oh,
and then I had to give him a lift too.
Saturday will be a pretty dull day for you now.
Oh, you just bet your sweet life it will be dull. I can't take any more excitement. Oh, my mouth's so dry from all that working and blowing. Nothing to do but sit around on the farm.
Better come with us tomorrow. I love the hyphening of this.
Is that a dash inside tomorrow?
It's how I just speak tomorrow.
That's a sweet new catchphrase you got there.
A bunch of us are just. No, that's Joe. A bunch of us are going fishing near the. No, that's Joe.
I think we have a request from the ether.
Okay.
Can you do?
Let's see. What the fuck? No. Can you roll your eyes back and make them look fully white like the Undertaker?
DW123DW.
I can't do that. Can you? Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Oh god,
I'm
that
not gonna
hurts.
put
That's
that
the furthest
on
I could go.
I'm not gonna try.
I
Appreciate the question. Big WWE fan. Okay.
Thank you for the follow.
Thank you for the follow. Thanks for the suggestion. We cannot. We are not worthy.
I can't slam. No.
All right. So Joe's.
I don't know any lingo. I'm just gonna move on like as if I know what's cool. All right.
Tomorrow.
A bunch of us are going fishing up near the dam. You can meet us up at the crossroads near Willow River.
Oh, good idea.
Said Chet.
What a time! Fishing! what riveting shit! That's gonna blow my mind!
Let's just Sega Pro bass fishing. It really isn't the most
Let's say it was
time.
You didn't say it was fishing, did you? Well, that's a horse of a different color.
All right, hang on. 10 o'clock.
Fine, I'll be there. Gosh, I'll see where I'll get a ride home. There goes a hay wagon.
Literally grabbing the first thing.
There goes a hay wagon. And it's headed right for the next farm. It's got it written on the side there. Next farm.
A long wagon rumbled slowly toward the boys. A lean and solemn farmer perched on the front seat, half asleep. The horses dwaddled along.
That's Lem Billers, the laziest man of the night. He's fucking working, man. Why are you getting on him? He's in the middle of his job. Who gives a shit?
No, we got shit on the working man. That's all you can do.
Watch me have some fun with him here.
Said Chet.
Did some rock there?
Yeah, but it was a request.
I saw it. That's up to you.
Oh, I already said it.
Chet took from his pocket an automobile horn.
Oh, okay. Chet took from his pocket an automobile horn, because that's what you got in your pocket is a
They
giant
stole
horn.
everything but the horn.
I kept it. It's my lucky horn. He had originally bought it for the roadster, but had not had time to install. Install's 1L. Install is 1L. What the fuck?
It was more efficient back in the day.
Gotta save that L press on the mechanical typewriter. You got, man, my fingers. I can't stand the L.
Oh, it's too many L's.
Install it before the car was stolen.
Thank God I got this explanation. I don't care.
We really needed the backstory on this horn.
This horn's got more character development than most of the characters in the story.
The horn was a new type, very small, yet it had a particularly raucous shriek, whatever.
We don't know how to pronounce things.
I can't read. That's half the show. The Hardy Boys grinned as they saw Chet step out onto the road and swing himself lightly up on the back of the wagon. Mr. Byler's was bringing up some supplies from the back to the farm, and Chet was hidden from a view.
This is a narrator that is
flour.
Truly
omnipresent.
Omnipresent. Like, I know everything.
And omniscient.
Omniscient, yeah. He's just like,
I can see into the hearts and minds of everyone.
I know what you're doing. Stop touching yourself, Mr. Hardy!
I'm working on a report!
Right. As the wagon rumbled past, Chet sounded the automobile horn. It shrieked sharply and insistently. Mr. Billers, being a lazy man, did not even look behind. He simply tugged lightly at the reins of the horse, and the horses edged over to the side of the road.
Bullshit.
He's a very smart man, because his instinct was to pull over and let the car pass.
That happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
Having heard the horn, Mr. Billers expected an automobile would pass, but when no car flashed by, he turned indolently in his seat and looked behind. The roadway was clear.
Man, this is some
There was not an automobile in
entertainment.
sight. This is what we have to do to get paid as a writer who's writing a book and makes 1 cent a word. You add a bunch of shit that doesn't fucking matter, but you get the word count up. What? And it's also a pretty long chapter, so we'll see how far we get today. It's gonna be a lot of this. He did not see Chet, doubling up with laughter, on the back of the wagon. He gazed doubtfully at the Hardy Boys, who were standing at the curb, probably whistling and kicking cans, because this was still that wasn't seen as a thing back then. That was just how kids were, trying to conceal their smiles.
Could have swore I heard a horn!
Grunted Mr. Billers. Then he tugged at the lines and brought the horses into the middle of the road again. Instantly, the horn shrieked again.
I
time,
can't get enough of this.
Dude,
this
Chet's
is
a
great.
dick.
Yeah.
Like he's just, my car's gone. My car's gone. I'm gonna fuck.
I'm gonna give you tinnitus, and it's gonna be a great time.
What?
Do you hear that?
Mr. Billers went mad and killed himself later. No, this time it was even louder and more insistent than before. It seemed that an automobile was right behind the wagon, clamoring to pass. Almost automatically, Mr. Billers yanked at the reins, and the horses again went to the side of the road.
Maybe Chet deserved to have his car stolen.
I think Chet deserves to have his dick rolled over by this wagon.
Maybe one of the horses should kick him in the fucking teeth.
That'd be great. But again, no car went by.
Riveting.
Again, Mr. Billers looked behind. Again, to his astonishment, he saw the roadway was clear.
I don't even remember what the fucking voice I did. I'm already bored.
Hanged if I didn't think I heard a horn!
Explained Mr. Billers, greatly puzzled, as he drove on again.
My ears must be going back on me!
But in a few minutes, the horn shrieked again. Joe and Frank and Joe were walking along the road, keeping abreast of the wagon, so as to not miss the fun, chuckled as they saw Mr. Billers once more.
So they're all bullies, and they like to pick on people?
They're basically dicks, yeah.
Yeah. Fuck these kids?
Pretty much. Just like, the Hardy Boys are not endearing themselves at all to the reader. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Anyway.
Man, they're real heroes.
Look at them. I can't wait for them to grow up like their dad. Saw all them files in the room, except they're practicing with iced tea or something else, because, you know, it's the 20s.
Drink up, Joe. You gotta be a man.
I don't wanna. It tastes like fire.
Hey, drink it. It tastes like fire down my throat.
They saw Mr. Billers once more pull on the reins and guide the horses to the roadside.
And then he fell off the side of the road, and his horses got tangled together, and their necks got snapped.
And then they fell on top of him, and he suffocated. There was no laughter that day, and Chet still had a good time fishing. The farmer recalled how he had been fooled on the previous occasions, and he looked quickly around, but there was no car in sight. Mr. Billers gazed down the roadway for a long time.
Page 3 of this shit.
Seriously, we are rolling in thick on this action. But then he sighed, for the air was one with the air of one whose patience had been long tried.
That's a tough one.
Must be something the matter with my ears.
He muttered and drove on. The Great War really fucked them. I remember stabbing a man in the chest and watching the light leave his eyes.
Honk, honk.
Who's doing that? At this moment, a luxurious sedan swept around a corner and drew
Here
up
we go.
close
This is how the
behind
kids
wagon.
create a car accident and murder.
This is how
you get manslaughter charges.
Exactly, right? There was a chauffeur at the wheel, and he sounded his horn impatiently, for the road was narrow and he was unable to get past. Lem Billers smiled darkly at himself and paid no attention. It's you. You're playing Lem Billers.
No shit. Sorry, I was half a two
Keep up,
paragraphs away.
friend. Keep up.
I was too far ahead.
Don't read
There
ahead.
it goes again!
He grumbled.
I must be hearing things. Hang me if I'll turn out any more with there ain't no car there to turn out for.
The wagon continued in the center of the road. The chauffeur of the car glared at Lem Beller's back and sounded the horn again. I love our Foley studio we have. It's a full crew of 5 people who graduated from the Berklee School of Music. Still, the farmer paid no attention. We don't pay them. Chet, limp with laughter, almost rode off the wagon. Frank and Joe could control their mirth no longer, and leaned against
Hold
the
your
telephone
mirth,
post
Joe.
with shouts of glee. The chauffeur, believing that the boys were laughing at him because he could not get past, because
Here comes the road rage.
yeah, right, became purple with anger.
Yep.
He shouted. He sounded the horn again and again, and finally, if Lem Billers obstinately refused to pay attention, he looked wildly about for a policeman.
Who's looking
God.
for policeman? Lem or the chauffeur?
The chauffeur?
Okay.
As luck would have it, Constable Con Riley.
Man, this shit is fucking developing more than the plot of this fucking story.
Dude, we actually might be able to fit 2 chapters in again. We're coming close to the end.
Okay.
Constable Con Riley was ambling along Main Street at that moment. I don't understand the direction of the city. We have a coast highway. We have a main street. Well, no, the coast
Rural farms,
rural farms by the sea.
back roads.
It's like I feel like we're like hillbilly country that got shoved up against the coast because they really wanted good real estate value.
The United States got squeezed down by 10,
Into a microcosm?
10,000%.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't the only one noticing that. Wondering if it would soon be supper time, and hoping his wife would serve corned beef and cabbage that evening, because he's very much that stereotype. He just loves.
I just want the corned beef. Just give me that corned beef.
And a pint of Guinness. He was aroused from his trance by the chauffeur, who brought the sedan to a stop and ran over to him. Like, seriously, I think that's pretty on the nose with this shit.
He's getting aroused by the chauffeur.
No, he's getting aroused by the chauffeur. No, I think he was getting aroused by the corned beef he wants to have at home.
Oh, yeah, there you go. He's gonna fuck the corned beef.
Officer, arrest that man! Roared the chauffeur, pointing at Lem Billers.
What for?
Demanded Con, taking off his helmet and scratching his head. Because that's what you do when you got a guy trying to raise you. Like,
What for?
My head itches. I got no time for this. Obstructing the traffic! He won't let me pass. I've been sounding my horn for the last 5 minutes, and he won't let me go past.
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, wow, that's actually the line. I thought you were just making that up. Said Constable Riley.
Well, he can't get away with that. Not while Con Riley's on the beat.
You're not a superhero. Are you gonna go? You sound the signal. It's a corned beef in silhouette.
I'm gonna go beat him like the Con I am.
Con! And with that, he ran out into the road, shouting at Lem Bellers to stop.
I wish I could do a Con impression. I can't.
You can't do Con?
I can't do Con.
You can't do with my hand. Oh, what is it? His line? It's Shakespeare. I reach out, I stab at thee.
Yeah.
Kick.
You can't do Ricardo Montalban?
No one can do Ricardo like Ricardo. Man.
I wish I could impersonate his chest.
Yeah,
plate that
so
he
much
wore.
chest.
So much chest. Those rip-roaring pecs of his.
Maybe if I had a video
Damn it! Now I gotta
Con.
watch that movie tonight.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's one of those movies where the villain and the hero never meet.
You're right. They don't. It's also a very interesting thing that all the good Star Trek movies are even numbered. But anyway, continuing on. At least for the original 6 movies. Anyway, at Constable's command, the farmer halted his team and gazed in amazement at the chauffeur and the officer as they came running up to him. Oh my god! Just come on, Chet's an asshole. Move on. We get it. This is you.
I don't even know where we're at. Okay.
You're the constable.
Why won't you let him pass?
Demanded the constable. Didn't you see? Don't you see? Don't say you didn't hear me! Roared the chauffeur. I sounded my horn 50 times!
Well, sure, I heard a horn.
Admitted by Billers.
But
He added triumphantly.
I didn't see no car.
Oh my god. This is you.
You
You have an argument with yourself.
Yeah.
Are you blind?
asked Riley.
There's the car!
Lem Billers looked behind.
Unfortunately, I'm doing the same voice, I think, for both of them.
Sorry about that.
They're different. They're a little bit different.
Whatever.
Look, Billers looked from behind. At the sight of the sedan, his jaw dropped.
Well, I'll be hanged.
He declared sadly.
It must be my eyes going back on me. Growing back into my head again.
Because they got gouged out the last time I got into a car accident.
Not my ears. I looked behind 3 times and I couldn't see no car.
Don't believe him, officer, said the chauffeur.
Hang him.
He didn't...
Do what he says, hang him.
It's 1920s. He didn't even turn around. Is you.
Man, I'm doing terrible this episode.
Yeah, you are. Keep up.
I did so.
Contended Billers. Then why didn't you let me pass?
You didn't have no car. I heard a horn, but I didn't see no car.
Thereupon, the argument grew fast and furious. Constable Riley was vastly puzzled.
Riveting.
I know. Someone cue the Law & Order sound effect.
Ba-bum.
He didn't know what to make of it. Both the chauffeur and Lem Billers appeared to be telling the truth. Yet, there was something wrong somewhere. He could tell his senses were tingling.
Just start shooting.
Just pulls out his gun, just wildly starts shooting into the wagon. He took it all the way down to the notebook, while Mr. Billers and the chauffeur grew angrier and angrier at each other until
What
finally...
about a notebook? What are you talking about?
He's writing down what they were saying.
Oh,
They
okay.
were on the point of settling the matter with their fists. Ooh, I would like to settle a traffic ticket with my fisticuffs.
Yeah.
But
All right,
officer,
punch each other.
we figured it out fair and square with our hands.
Officer, we got it solved.
Sir, I cannot understand you, sir. Sir, I cannot understand.
I'm gonna push you.
Sir, I'm gonna convict you for murder.
Okay. Hang me.
In the meantime, there was a steadily lengthening line of cars and wagons blocking the street. Did they not pull over, like, onto the side of the road?
They're just fighting in the street.
It's just anarchy, because some kid just had to fuck with a guy driving a wagon. Unable to get past because...
Chet is a goddamn menace.
I know, right? Past the wagon and the sedan. I bet Joe's, like, sitting there lamenting, inviting him. It's like that kid you have to invite to a party, but you don't want them to come. You're hoping they say no. Yeah. Anyway. A constant chorus of automobile horns sounded. Angry drivers... Angry drivers roared at the officer to clear the road. Constable Riley threw up his hands in disgust.
Get out of your way, both of you.
He commanded.
I can't stand here arguing all afternoon.
And while Lem Billers, wondering whether his eyes or his ears had deceived him, drew his horses to the side of the road and muttered strong threats of vengeance against the chauffeur, who has no name, the traffic tangle gradually abated. I'm
gonna murder him.
When he finally resumed his journey, the Hardy Boys could see Chet lying limply on the back of the wagon with tears of laughter running down his face.
How did they not see Chet in any of these angles?
I don't know. I don't know. It's a covered wagon apparently from, when they were coming
But the Hardy
overland.
Boys can see him?
Because they have X-ray vision. They're the Hardy Boys.
Because they're omniscient, omnipresent characters as well.
As for our omniscient, I don't know which one it is. If you're listening, you tell us which one it is. I'm sure my friend Bree's yelling at us right now. As for Frank and Joe, they laughed all the way home during supper that evening.
Because they're both pieces of shit as well.
Yeah, their spasmodic outbursts of chuckles puzzled their parents extremely. Are we raising sociopaths? Mr. Hardy?
Jesus Christ.
Mr. Hardy, Dad, are we raising sociopaths? I need to know. I'm your wife.
Hey, I've got a mystery for you to solve here. Where's my booze? Where's my drink?
The mystery of the missing
Don't
drink.
talk to the boys. You're giving them ideas that women can talk.
But I'm your wife.
Do you want to do chapter 6?
I say fuck it. Let's go. We got half an hour. We're good to go.
Okay.
We did that in half an hour. We're good. We're golden.
We could do a
Commercial break?
Isn't it sex?
Oh, I guess we could. Yeah, why not?
End this one early?
Yeah, I mean, Isn't Between the Stacks also our Patreon exclusive, so it's kind of like a little sneak peek.
Yeah. I wasn't thinking we were doing it on air. I was thinking we were turning it off and bouncing.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I get
to
it
use
now.
up the 30 minutes.
Oh, right. Because, got it. Okay. Cool.
What do you think? Keep going? Up to you.
Well, here, I'm going to pause it now.
Well, we're live, though.
I know, but I'm going to pause it there.
Okay.
I mean, maybe. We could do it Between the Stacks about that. A part of me wants to almost do another chapter.
Because
but-
we've been doing two chapters.
Yeah.
Trying to keep up. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of want to. I like the speed we're going through with this. It's casual enough.
How
that we're able
many
to
more
have a
pages
conversation.
is the next chapter?
Sorry, pardon us, viewers. We're trying to figure out a technical.
Whatever. This is what we do.
Yeah.
That's not that many. It's 8 pages.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, and it goes pretty quick. So,
All right, let's do it.
I say let's truck along, and then we could do it between the stacks, and then I'll leave.
Okay.
So, all right. Go ahead.
You got it.
Oh, okay.
All
we're
right.
gonna-
Let's jump into.
Chapter 6. Yes. Roman numerals. This would not play with today's audience.
Tire tracks.
Next day. Thank you for the title.
Yeah. Title shot.
I love that tire tracks have stuck around for over a week. Anyway, next day was Saturday.
Page 46.
And immediately after breakfast, the Hardy Boys asked their parent mother to make up a lunch for them. As,
Make me lunch.
I am not a slave. I am your mother.
What? You're talking, not making lunch.
For them, as they intended to spend all day in the woods with a number of their school chums.
Riveting.
Mrs. Hardy, quickly
They're married.
made up a generous package of sandwiches, not forgetting to slip in several big slices of the boys' favorite cake. And the lads started off. I love that's her only role. She's just the food supplier. You
Does
meet
she
in
have
town.
a first name?
No, she's Mrs. Hardy, but they don't have a dad's name either.
Fenton.
Dad's name? What?
Fenton.
His name is Fenton?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, she's just this one. This book wouldn't pass the Bechdel test. Okay. Just want to point that out.
She has no agency but to make the food.
I choose what you get to eat.
I'm a microwave.
Those are my choices. And then she made them pickles and ham.
The microwave.
God, I
is
don't even have that.
I do. I just got to solve the mystery of what temperature should I set the oven? Is it 350 or 400?
The narrator doesn't specify, so I have all the freedom I want.
Inside these 5 walls of the oven, I'm queen.
I am queen of Kenmore land.
Welcome to Kenmore territory. How you must burn inside the Kenmore.
All praise the Kenmore.
What, honey? Oh, right now. I'll get you a drink right away.
I'm a queen here.
I'm a queen.
I'm gonna make some tea because I'm the queen.
Lunchtime.
Mom, what are you talking about over there? Where's our sandwiches?
Oh, sorry. Here's your brown paper bags to go. Be nice to me, boys. Don't hit me again.
The whole holiday before them. Hang on.
Your transition back is lovely.
They met the other boys, half a dozen in all,
Oh,
on the
God.
road
We're
at
gonna
the
have to come up
outskirts.
with
I
half
can't wait to
dozen.
get bat stories on every single one of them because they fucking matter apparently.
Dude,
They-
what the fuck was up with that chapter of,
I don't
of the
fucking know.
cars and shit? What a
If
piece
anything,
of
it gives
shit.
you a slice of life into a time that doesn't exist anymore. But even then, did it? Is my question.
I don't care.
Maybe shit like that did occur, but I don't know to the comedic value that is no longer there. So
He's not going to look behind him. He didn't look behind him the first time.
he looked behind him 3 times, and then he got tired of it. But if you're operating a wagon, you're gonna look.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Anyway,
So stupid.
they met the other boys, half a dozen in all, on the road.
This is why we need automation for cars.
Honk, honk! The computer doesn't give a shit, Chet.
The computer can see you. It's got cameras at every side. Then.
Hey, in fact, it's opening the tailgate. It tells you to jump out. It's just gonna slowly push you out of the car now.
If you try to jump in it, it would just like hit you in the face with the fucking.
It decided.
The
It
bumper.
decided culturally you're not relevant. So get the fuck out. Even at speed, it has that ability now. It's an upgrade in the top tier of the fanciest cars. On the road on the outskirts of town, and so whistling and chattering and telling jokes, the group trudged along the dusty highway. Do you remember that time when Chet fucked with that guy who was driving the wagon? Wasn't that great?
Yeah,
Once
I
in
want
a
to be
while,
just like him. He sounds like a great guy.
right? Once in a while, they would explore along the fences for berry bushes,
Riveting.
and occasionally
This is
a
really
friendly
exciting shit.
scuffle would start, to end with both laughing contestants covered in dust.
I'm gonna punch you in the face. Oh,
I
what a
fucked your
scuffle.
mother.
Oh, you're the best.
Hooray!
Oh, what chums.
When they reached the crossroads, Chet had not yet appeared, so they rested in the shade of the trees. Please let Chet be dead. Until at length the chubby youth came panting along the road, his lunch under his arm. So
Is it?
it's you.
Are you sure? Is it Chet? Yeah, he said. Okay.
If only I had my roadster, I wouldn't be late.
He said as he came up to
It's
them,
been missing for weeks, but I'm still not used to it.
lamenting over the fact that I have to use the legs that God gave me.
I'm a little overweight because I just drive around the roadster.
It just means
all
you
the
got
time.
more fuel, Chet. Keep running.
Oh, I've been so used to it that I've forgotten how long it takes to walk this far. Well, are we all set then?
Asked Frank. Everybody's here. Where are we going?
I think it's Frank.
Sure.
What do you say to Willow Grove?
no,
This
that's
is
me.
Jam.
All those in favor say, aye,
Demanded Chet. And there was a chorus of
Aye!
"Aye!" from the crowd.
It's unanimous.
This Chet
Shut the
decided.
fuck up, it's my line.
Yeah, I'm about to say you're here now. You're
I
leading.
actually have a presence in the story. Willow Grove it shall be. Let's go and murder somebody.
What? We're
What?
going fishing.
Whoa, whoa.
Willow Grove was about a mile further on. It was some distance in from the road, and it was on the banks of the Willow River, from which it got its name.
Clever.
Crazy. It was an ideal place for a picnic, and it was somewhat early in the season. It was hardly likely that other parties from the city would be in the grove that day. Frank told the
There's
other
a city,
boys.
There's a
Town,
there's
cities,
towns, counties,
farms.
all sorts of things.
It's a conglomeration of
The Tri-County area.
yeah, exactly, by the coast in some nameless town.
I feel like we're on a Catan board or something like that.
Like, do you have any brick? I need brick.
Sure.
I'll trade you 5 sheep for 2 brick.
Yeah, you would.
I need it. The economy's bad these days. Ships fast with every roll. Frank told the other boys about Chet's adventure with the auto horn, and the story was greeted with shouts of laughter because they're all assholes, which were redoubled when Chet told how he had later jumped from the wagon and run along behind, shouting to Lembellers to give him a ride. Jesus Christ, what an asshole.
This story's so fucking stupid.
You see, at least in Back to the Future, Marty McFly just grabbed hold of bumpers and didn't say shit. He was just happy to get
and
a
they
free
don't
lift.
care then? Yeah, exactly.
It was a shame.
He confessed.
The poor old chap reined in his horses and made me come up and sit on the seat beside him.
What a fucking asshole for making you do that, Chet.
He asked me if I wanted to walk, if I'd walk very far, and then he told me all about his argument with the police and the chauffeur. I couldn't hardly keep my face straight.
When the boys reached a lane that led in toward Willow Grove from the main road, they broke into a run and raced into the woods to be murdered by Jason Voorhees, shouting and yelling like wild Indians.
Ooh.
Well, actually, that's a...
Well, I just feel like we're opening the door to...
We're getting there. We're getting there. Close. So slowly but surely, it's going to get more, I think. Hello. Just some lonely taco.
Hello!
Hello.
Once...
Okay, thank you. Once in the friendly shade of the trees, they capered. There's a caper. They capered about in the joy of their Saturday freedom. Chet
They've
took.
been walking around for hours, and now they're fucking...
Now they're free from the judgmental eye of society, and they got naked and went swimming. I don't know.
I'm sure it's gonna get there.
Chet, I know it's gonna get real.
Oh, take your clothes off, boys. Let's have some fun.
Chet's gonna be the one that suggested too.
Honk, honk. Oh, yeah. I like what you're doing. This is fun.
Chet took charge of the lunches and stored them in a conventional clearing,
Oh, the fat
and
kid
then
would do
began
that.
to rush for the river. Huh?
The fat kid would do that.
I'll take those, and I don't mind me.
Don't worry about it. I'm not going to eat them, I promise. Suddenly, the horse's ass split in two. Penetrated deeper into the woods. Oh, wait. I jumped ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't know what you're... Saturday Freedom?
Yeah.
I took lunch. Okay, cool.
Okay, rush for the river. The day passed in the usual fashion of such days. They swam, they ate, they loafed about under the trees. They played games at imminent risk of life and limb.
What?
They got like swords or something in that river, and they're like,
All right, close your eyes. I'm going to throw this dagger above your head.
they
Don't move!
explored the route. They explored the. Oh, you moved. Oh boy.
Stick your hand in that snake hole.
They explored the woods and otherwise enjoyed themselves with
Let's
all
pretend to hang Joe.
happy energy. No, I don't want. No, please don't.
Wrangle him up. Don't let him get away.
This is suddenly turning into a Stephen King bully level of bullying when it comes to that shit.
Punch him in the face!
Seriously, I don't understand how Stephen King bullies are even real. Like, they're fucking just pieces of just evil. They're just fucking evil, period. Like, there's no way that's a human being. Anyway.
I believe it.
I mean, I'm sure it existed, but it happens like in every single fucking book, and it's like, I come to feel like I don't believe it. Anyway.
I think we're gonna see Chet appearing again in the Stephen King book.
Oh, I'm sure. They explored the woods and blah, 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 blah. Joe Hardy was an amateur naturalist in his way.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I think he means he likes the woods or likes nature. Went roaming off by himself during the afternoon while the other boys were enjoying their third swim for the day and penetrated deeper into the woods. He poked.
I'm on my third swim already, and then I'm gonna do my fourth and my fifth. I count my swims. Don't you count your swims?
No.
What? Okay, well, take your clothes off and I'll start counting for you. Okay, now it's time to penetrate deeper into those woods.
He poked around in the undergrowth, examining various flowers and plants that came to his attention, but discovered no specimens that he had seen before.
That he had not seen before.
He had not seen before. Sorry.
Wouldn't it be not that fast, like surprising if he's lived in that area and he
just now is finding shit that he's already seen? Yeah. It's not that
surprising. It would be fascinating if he did find one that he hadn't seen.
It would be fascinating if the story would just get on the story and stop fucking around
like
with this bullshit.
We're a third of this way into the book and I don't know what the fuck the story's about.
What's the tower treasure? Where's the tower? What is the treasure? We haven't even fucking got that far. We've gotten a car
that got robbed.
There's a redhead, maybe.
A convenience store got fucking
and then there was
held up.
A guy getting his livelihood fucked with by a kid because he just wanted a lift, and then he pretended. What are we doing here?
They're solving crimes.
What are we doing?
They're creating more crimes and chaos than they solve.
I think they're trying to create a crime so they can solve it.
I mean, that is actually
trying that scarcity economy. You know, like. Who's going to solve the crime? I think we can do it. Give us about 5 days at $200 a day and we'll have this correct.
Ever since the stock market crashed, the only way to solve crimes is to create them.
Who robbed the bank? I don't know.
I don't know. Let me just change my wig.
Hang on, I put my giant dollar note sack away. Okay, I think I can figure out who did this.
We found 80% of the money. We're returning it back to the bank. You got a reward, don't you?
Look at you double dipping. Clever kid. Anyway, he was just on the point of going back when the other lads when he saw before him a small clearing. It was part of the grove in which he had never been. He finally found something new, so he plodded on.
Joe's got his own secret garden.
There's a little kid in the wheelchair. Hello, governor.
Oh, jeez, I don't know what to do. Okay.
I've never read this book. I only know that visual reference. That's it. Anyway, plodded through he plodded through the bushes until he found himself in a clearing that appeared to be part of an abandoned roadway. It was in a low-lying part of the grove, and the ground was wet. At one point, it was muddy, and it was in this mud. Joe saw something that aroused his curiosity. He has a raging...
I'm so aroused by this fucking grove.
Tire tracks, eh?
That's right. His voice so much better.
There's been an automobile in here. Oh, wait. He just kept saying, There's been an automobile in here. He muttered to himself. I wonder how on earth a car could get this far into the woods.
I kind of just want Joe to go on adventures by himself.
Please, Joe, just run away from your shitty brother and all the shitty friends. Go! Be free, you fool! It's like, keep telling me about the rabbits, Ned.
Oh, shit. Well, there are certain species in this area. They're unusual this time of the year. Oh, God! I don't know how to do that. Wow, that's a Remington pistol.
Yeah.
1912.
And he remembered.
It's got great action when you pull the trigger.
Then he remembered his father's remarks on the value of developing his powers of observation. So he went over closer and examined the marks in the mud. There's a strange tread, he thought. I've never seen a tire mark quite like this before. He's an actual detective. He's detective.
Oh my God!
We got a detective.
He's researching.
He's doing it.
I'm taking mind pictures now. Hey guys, do you want to check out my mind pictures? Sit down.
Let me pull up my mind palace. He gazed at it until he was sure that if he ever saw a similar auto tread again, he would recognize it. Memory. Hang on, this is you. Oh, wait, it's me. Sorry, I'm so used to Frank talking and Joe just being like, uh-huh.
I agree with you. Wow, you're amazing.
I'm just here to make sure you sound awesome, Frank. That just goes to prove that Dad was right, said Joe. Probably I've seen an auto tires like that often, but I've never noticed the markings, and now I do notice one in particular. It seems strange to me.
Who are you talking to?
I wonder what an automobile was doing here. I talk to myself at night because I'm the only one who agrees with my point of view, and how it came to get here in the first place. However, he gave the matter a little further thought and retraced his steps through the woods until he returned to the boys, who were getting dressed after their swim.
Hot.
I thought automobile. Oh, hang on.
Let's see.
Okay. I thought automobiles weren't allowed in Willow Grove. He said casually to Chet Morton.
Neither they are.
Neither they are. It's a pretty normal sentence.
That's how we talk today. Woo!
You have to park just inside the fence.
Well, somebody brought a car down here into the grove.
They couldn't do that. There's no road.
What?
Spill it, fatty.
You're the fat one.
Shut up, kid. Well, string him up. He's a liar. Now put him where those tire tracks are. Let's run him over with that car.
What?
Okay, rev up the engines, boys.
Well,
let's tear him in half.
Jesus Christ. Suddenly it's the hitcher.
Tie his hands to the tree, and then tie his legs to the back of the car.
Just do it. Dad!
Don't question it.
I'm trying to do my best Rugger Hauer impression, and I can't. All right. What do we got over here? Well, there's a clearing. There's a sort of a clearing over there, said Joe, motioning in the direction in which he had just returned. It looks as if it had been a road at one point.
I lost it. Where are we?
That's probably the old.
Oh, road at one time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's Frank or Chet? Let's just say it's Chet.
That's probably the old creek road. It hasn't been used for years.
Unless they say Frank, I'm assuming it's the person who just spoke.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
You don't know what you're talking about, kid.
Yeah. Well, you're the same age as me, Chet.
Shut up and get on the ground. I'm gonna set you on fire.
What? No. The fucking horn is just gonna be the running gag now. Well, it was used just this week. I can tell because I'm a forensic pathologist.
From all the tire tracks I've looked at, one, I could have clearly established that this has been there for a week.
I'm a mudologist as well, and I know what this is. I saw the marks of an automobile tire right there not 10 minutes ago, and it was a mighty peculiar tread too, like this. And Joe commenced to draw a replica of the design in the sand.
And the replica of how he was never going to have any friends.
And or sex. Using a thin stick that was his penis of wood as a pencil.
Wow!
Chet Morton stared.
Wow, that's a mighty thin penis pencil you got there! Why?
He exclaimed.
Did you take your penis out and stick it in the mud?
Well, Chet, I just figured it's about the only time anyone's able
to see it. You don't have any
it.
friends! No one's gonna miss you! They'll never find your body from where I put it!
I'm gonna cry now.
There's only one car in the city that has tires like that!
Oh my god, really? Whose car? I love that Frank's now the passive one because they're trying to find out information, and Frank's the man of action.
Yeah.
There's action, brother! And there's question, brother!
I'm the one doing all the legwork of the detective stuff!
He did it.
No, what? No, what about...
All right, let's take the pictures down for the newspapers.
I did all the work!
Oh, Mr. Mayor, the key to the city, thank you.
That's my key!
Oh, well, Joe, get out of here. You're too young to know. What's my car?
Oh. Whose car? Mine!
Mine!
Exclaimed Chet, springing to his feet.
Where is this road you found, fatty? Show me now!
But I'm skinny!
Shut up, fatty! No one wants to hear how you're eating. It's my lunch now.
Joe Hardy quickly led the way, and all the other boys came trooping along behind. the whole band thrown into a state of great excitement by his unexpected discovery. They all knew that Chet's
I discovered this. Come this way.
What? No,
This
you
is
didn't.
my discovery.
You were swimming with the
Joe
boys.
is asking questions, but I found the answers. I found the clearing.
I just want something of my own.
I don't know why he always hangs around here. He's stupid.
I went to Juilliard.
Chet, let's get out of here before this guy ruins this day anymore. Let's get naked again and go back to the water.
They all knew that Chet's car was of an unusual make, because it was stupid, like him, and that the tires were distinctive, because they're stupid, like him. When they reached the clearing, and Chet had explained that the imprint in the mud, had examined the imprint in the mud, he exclaimed,
There's no mistake about it! My car has been here!
I knew it like a child's hand in a face.
I felt the tread just like this with my tongue, and the levers in the back. Oh, like a lever. There's no other car in the city has a tread like that. I felt them all. I've seen them all.
I love that they think a custom car means you get custom tires. Tires are
There's
tires.
only tires. There's only one of a kind.
I was about to say, I'm like,
And they made 4 of a kind, and they only put them on my car.
did you imprint them yourself at home? I
And
don't
they
know.
print them on my body every night.
Hang on, what do we got?
Perhaps this car is still around here.
Suggested Frank, the idiot.
We should
quickly.
do action time.
I was about to say bad of action. Keep going.
Oh, sorry. For all we could tell, the thief may have abandoned it, and then unabandoned it by picking this road as a good place to hide it.
It's you again.
We just get fucked. We only have conversations with ourselves.
Yeah.
It will be an ideal place.
Agreed, Chet.
This road leads off the main highway and isn't often used. Let's take a look around anyway. Get out of the way, fatty.
The boys quickly scattered, taking some taking one side of the road and the rest taking the other. For a while.
What do they think they're gonna find it? 10 feet away in another bush? It's fucking.
Guys, I found it in a bush 10 feet away!
Oh, just like I suspected. I've got my
but-
keys. I can shape it out of the mud. We're just gonna need some iron. We better find it in your blood, fatty.
No!
Oh, we'll find the keys out of this distilled blood.
DNA powered this car. I don't know what that means. It's 1927, but whatever. The boys quickly zoomed in. For a while, the search continued without success. But as Frank and Chet, who were following the abandoned road further down, gave a simultaneous cry. Here's a... Hang on, Chet and Frank. You gotta do 2 voices at once. Go. Here's a bypass.
I'm trying to imagine how Frank and.
How can you do this?
How do I
together?
do Bat Mouse?
Bat- Danger Mouse.
Here's a behemoth.
Bypass. That's bypass.
Bypass, yeah.
Here's the bypass.
Before them was a narrow roadway, overgrown with weeds and low bushes, that almost hid it from view. It led from the abandoned road to the very depths of the wood. Without hesitation, 2 boys plunged into it. The roadway...
Plunge into it, boys. That's it. Rub your bodies together. This is gonna be great. I like that here's a bypass is the thing that we both say simultaneously without discussing it first. Because that just makes a lot of sense. Keep going.
The roadway widened out underneath them. Widened out further on. Then wound about a heavy clump of trees until it came to an end in a wide clearing. And in the clearing stood Chet Morton's lost roadster!
I'm actually shocked.
I am surprised too that this actually solved. We solved the case of the lost roadster by not doing the case at all.
That's a good tower, and that's a good treasure where they got there.
Done.
Let's wrap it up.
Wrapped it up in chapter 6.
Oh, it's my car! Don't touch it, fatty!
Yeah, yelled Chet in delight. His shout was heard all by the the boys.
Let's scream as loud as we can! The thief could possibly be nearby! We wouldn't give you our position! One of us is gonna get shot and buried here!
The sound of snapping twigs and crackling branches soon told Frank and Chet that the others were losing no time in reaching the scene. Chet's delight was boundless.
I'm gonna take off my clothes and rub my body on the trans!
Chet, stop rubbing yourself naked on the car.
I can't help it! That trans one of a kind!
He examined the car with a minute care. In every particular in every particular. Okay.
Oh, tongue that tread.
While
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh my God.
When I hit that spot.
While the other boys crowded about, at last he straightened up with a smile of satisfaction.
That sweet leather interior. Oh, man.
Hang on, this is you.
Oh. She hasn't been damaged a bit. All ready to run. The thief just hid the old bus in here. He hid a bus inside my roadster.
Exactly, as if, where's this bus? What?
If anybody needs a ride, I now have a source of public transportation that I can use just to pay the toll.
Honk,
Okay? Honk, honk.
Okay, and made a getaway. You still got to keep going.
In here and made a getaway. Come on, fellas. We don't walk back home today. We ride!
He clambered into the car, and in a few seconds, the engine roared.
They left the key in the ignition. That's convenient.
You're right? It's just like, this is the most bumbling thief in the fucking world. If you... Hang on. Okay.
There was sufficient?
Yeah. There we go. There was sufficient room in the clearing to permit him to turn the roadster about, and when he swung the car around and headed north... See
you later, boys!
The boys gave a cheer and hastened to clamber on board. Lurching and swaying, the roadster reached the abandoned road from where it was an easy run to the main highway. In spite of...
7 boys found dead in a seat, without any seatbelts in the car.
It's a horrific accident. The Hardy boys were involved. They won't be solving any more mysteries. In spite of the fact that it had been left in the bush for probably a week, the roadster was in perfect condition, and the engine
How do they know it was
ran
weak?
smoothly. Because it's been over a week since it went missing.
Okay. It wasn't the mud that Joe examined?
Just someone lone... Oh gosh, what's his name? Just someone lonely taco.
Just some lonely taco.
Just some lonely taco. Thank you for following.
Appreciate it.
Super duper. Joe was given...
I think it's all the fucking mud tracks. That's how they knew the roadster had
Yeah.
been there for a week.
No, I mean, there's that, and also had been missing for a week. I mean...
Joe! It's been missing a week because... It's been missing a week.
It's been missing a week. Like,
This mud looks like it could be, a week old.
I'm like, what more do you want? The car's been gone for a week.
I've examined this mud long enough to notice that it's been a week since it's been here.
I don't know how many ways to say it. It's been missing a week. Anyway.
I don't know where we're at.
Joe was given the seat of honor beside the driver because he had discovered the tire marks that had led to the recovery of the car, and the other boys distributed themselves as best they could. They clung onto the running boards, hung precariously
shit.
to the back, and had...
They're not inside the car!
I've done that. And one laid even straddled to the hood, and I've done that. In this manner, the triumphal procession returned to Bayport. As the cheering lads came down the main street, they noticed there was an unwanted air of excitement in the town. People were standing on the street corners in little groups, talking earnestly. And when the boys spied Detective Smuff, still the worst detective name ever.
Detective Snuff.
Smuff.
The snuff box.
Smurf.
Snuff barn.
This is Papa Smurf of the police force, striding along with portentous frown. What? Pretentious?
I don't fucking know.
Okay. Frown. They called out to him. Is this Chet? Yeah, it's Chet. Go ahead. No, hang. Okay, why don't you do Frank?
I was gonna do, yeah.
What's on your mind today, detective? Chet got his car back.
If you couldn't tell by us driving in the street.
Who was Detective Snuff?
He's one of the two
No,
like,
were
deputies.
you who did the voice? Did you?
I think I was Smuff, yeah.
Okay.
Hang on. I've got something more important to do than stolen cars to worry about, declared Detective Smuff. The Tower Mansion has been robbed.
A tower?
Oh my god!
But there's treasure in that tower!
You know what's funny? In today's world, that would be chapter 3 when we introduce the actual fucking plot of this fucking book.
But that's the end of chapter 6.
6.
Jesus Christ.
Filled with so much superfluous bullshit. Suddenly the car said my wife is all...
All right, let's
wrap up.
we have some comments here. Let's catch up.
Yeah.
We should let's do this in character.
Okay. Do you want to be Joe?
No, you. Well,
I'll be Joe and you be Frank.
Yeah.
Okay. Which one do you want to take? Where should we start?
Let's start at the beginning, so the bottom part.
Okay, podcast listeners, we are reading the comments from our live stream right now.
Okay.
Thank you again for our 2 follows today. They're super duper appreciated. And,
Thank you so much.
And we're gonna go for it.
You,
so here
you
we
be
go.
the narrator, and then I'll read this as
Okay, how about
I'll do this as chat. I like chat.
Okay, all right. The Hardy Boys and the Wonderful Sex Toys is what I'm gonna call a simple paragraph I will put in chat.
So okay, you went deep. Sorry, I was going. I was going to read the quote at the top.
Oh,
Sorry. I don't know which way you're going here.
we can meet in the middle like Benjamin Button. So you start at the top then.
Okay. I thought you were going to do it as the narrator.
I did. Didn't I?
Suddenly the car said,
Oh,
"My wife is a whore."
Oh.
Sorry, I thought I was having you set me up, and it didn't work out.
Sorry.
All right, it's okay. It's
Suddenly the car said. Yeah.
My wife's a whore. No, my wife's a whore.
The two Hardy Boys had to go to mental hospital, and their memory had been erased to get rid of the mere thought
We fucked this up.
of a whore.
We did this early.
Yeah, apologies to just some lonely taco.
The two Hardy Boys had to go to a mental hospital, and their memory had to be erased to get rid of the mere thought of a whore.
Stupid. Stupid. Everybody fucked that up, including the writer. Sorry, I love you, but it's not whatever.
Right.
If you go to Antarctic Expert, Drunken Swedish Idiots, and Walrus Farts, I don't know what that.
I don't know what that means.
This is internet chat.
My paragraph didn't load in. Sad face.
Okay, cool. So let's thrilling shit. We appreciate the chat. We appreciate the follows. Thank you so much. We didn't do an ad for us.
No,
so
we didn't.
Let's throw that in there now. So a great way to support the show is to go to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/BadAudiobooks. We have all sorts of tiers there, all sorts of little benefits.
Yep.
So go check them out. Each one builds on the last one. So if you get near the top, you'll have all the previous ones below it.
And you help out my kid through college.
Yes, exactly. Put that kid through college so she... Well, maybe she doesn't need to do college. Maybe she can just go to trade school.
You know, we don't need to get into that conversation.
Okay. And if you want to read a book from my co-host here, Nick Mazmanian, you've got a book.
I do. It's called the Margot Flint and the Last Soldier, a young adult science fiction novel about a teenage girl and her AI who set out to remap their broken world. Find it on Amazon today. Kent, I believe you have another podcast you do.
I do. It's called Comic Book Workshop,
yeah.
And we interview comic creators on there. It's about making comics, what the podcast is about. We've interviewed Robert Kirkman, the creator of The Walking Dead. There's all sorts of cool interviews on there and all subjects that we talk about. So, yeah, you can go to tmbcworkshop.com, and you should be able to listen to it there. Yeah, I think we should start just heading out. Best way to support the show is going to our Patreon, but another great way to support the show is to, however you're listening to the show right now, like, subscribe, follow, whatever the bullshit is on that. So, yeah.
And also be sure to leave a review on Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
We will read those reviews out loud if you leave a comment, as long as it's not hate speech.
Yeah, as long as it's not hate speech, we'll read that shit.
And every review helps us climb up and be seen.
All through that magic algorithm. Shit. We usually have this written down, so we're kind of doing this off the cuff memory-wise.
Yeah. Ken, where can they find your work online?
Oh, yes. You can follow me on Instagram. Is that what you're talking about?
Yep.
At Ken Heidelman. I didn't know if you're, like, plugging my site. I'm like, we haven't really done that before. But,
no.
You can also go to kenheidelman.com if you want to check out my other shit. But, yeah, if you want to follow me on Instagram, I post my art. I'm a comic creator, so you can go check out that shit on there. Nick, you've got an Instagram.
I do, but I need to read this comment first. I believe you have cancer.
Yeah, we should have them. We should write a thing that if you're writing a comment or a review into the Apple Podcasts, or you're doing it on in chat, it's something they could tell us like what voice they want us to read it.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
If you're a long-time listener to the podcast, you can tell us any voice, and we'll try to recreate that voice. There's some characters that we have made up.
There's someone. There's another one there below it.
Yeah. Do you want to do it since I did the one above it?
Yeah. What voice? But you should tell me what voice I should do it in.
Do it in.
It could be something from
Prince Charming.
Prince Charming. I was gonna say it should be from a different story. It's just the Surfer Bro one, right?
Yeah. Bro Charming.
Bro Charming. Yeah.
Harry Potter and the painting of the what looked like a large pile of ash. You should read that. It's such a
kind of became chat there.
You're like, oh my god.
What's up, bro?
You're furniture now.
You should read Harry Potter or the painting of what looked like a large pile of ash. It's such an amazing story. Yeah. Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And if you want to find my work online, you could just go to Instagram because we're still doing the closing of the show. We can go to Instagram, and I am.
It's
at
a little
Real
more
Human
wild
Maz.
when we do the live for some reason.
Well, because it is more wild. There's interactivity. There's other people in the room with us. You know,
It's crazy.
you could go to at Real Human Maz. I post pictures about my life, projects I'm working on, and I gotta do some more writey shit because I'm a writer. So and that's about it.
Sweet. Yeah. And I think if you want to follow the Bad Audiobooks, you can go to BadAudiobooks on Instagram and check out the shit that we do there. There's also sorts of cool posts that we're doing. But that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for listening. You want to play us out? You got that little...
Oh, yeah.
little-
And good night, sweet listeners.
We appreciate it.
Goodbye, sweet viewers.
And we're gone.
Work out. Peace.
I'm not doing this right.